It's time for the shop report with
Barbershop Jay.
What up, sports fans? Welcome to the Shop Reports presentation of the Turnbuckle. And as you see, I am live on set. Obviously, the big week here in Detroit, and that is the city slightly behind me, off on an angle. And we're gonna
see a big comfy couch behind me.
That's right.
I see a green screen. Hold on, wait a minute. Let me fix that. No, hold on. I need to go on location. I'm sorry, I didn't let the fans know where I was at. I'm sorry. Hold on 1 second.
Fair enough. That's the beauty of live TV, right? So we're gonna dive right into things. Of course, we've got a lot on the docket here. A ton of things have accrued and occurred over the past 7 days, and unfolding as we speak. So without further ado, let me first introduce my co-host. That is D Gully, reporting live from Columbus.
Oh yes, yeah.
Welcome. Yeah. All right. So talk about a one-up.
Yeah, they just moved that in. It's got the finest bamboo for the and the ivory keys are humane and economic. They're ethically sourced. From the finest regions in Africa. Yes. Yeah, they just brought that in. Just something a little bit. I can just play my Mozart when I get a chance. But how we doing?
Doing wonderful. There's a lot to break down, of course, in this past week and what's going on as we speak, which is the beauty of this program. And where I really wanted to start and gauge your thoughts first, staying with WWE specifically, is the news that actually just came across the screen on Raw about 10 minutes ago as well, which is this message here, this PR release. You're going to have the NXT event at the UFC Apex. We know obviously that the merger occurred, and now we're seeing, and we talked almost ad nauseum about NXT and what we may see over the next week or so coming up with the draft and being able to actually go, to the NXT brand from, as you called it, the A program or B program. And so what do you think of this? And then I'll kind of gauge your thoughts from there.
I don't want to poo-poo it, but from what I can tell, it's the beginning of what could be an actual cross-branding enterprise. But for right now, it's just pretty much they're going on location, right? WWE to me, it looks equivalent to hosting this would be like WWE hosting a live event at Wimbledon Stadium. You know what I'm saying? Or like it's just an arena change. Like what are we going to see? What sort of UFC seasoning are we going to see over the WWE live event? That's what I'd be interested to find out. But I mean, it's I will say I am curious. I am optimistic about the two separate enterprises acknowledging each other's existence in the TKO cinematic universe, as it were.
And that's the thing, right? As I mentioned a moment ago, the relationship, the ink is dried.
Okay.
And we haven't, we've seen Triple H emerge, but that was for largely all other reasons. We've seen what The Rock did with his board position rather quickly, but we haven't truly seen these guys come together and kind of flex the collective muscle. And I spent a lot of time last week talking about the growth of NXT and potentially how it would transition into its own product beyond just the up and comers, as we had discussed, as well. And I think this is really a true coming out party for the NXT brand, but then also for that true budding partnership and new relationship, because what we've seen from UFC historically from a promotional vantage point, it really kind of excites me to see what these collective superpowers, it's that old Hogan Macho Man, coming together. And so what say you about that part of it as a whole? Do you have any kind of expectations? Do you see anything kind of growing from here? Where do we go from this point?
Yeah, I want to see UFC rules matches.
Whoa.
You know what I'm saying? I want to see a UFC rules match. I want to see a Intercontinental title in the octagon. Right? Like we seen in No Holds Barred way back in 1988 with Rip and Zeus, right?
Yes.
I think that's what we're building for, because to acknowledge each other's presence on an official capacity, that's great. But what more can you do with it? Because we understand what professional wrestling is. And again, if you look at my headline, right, working the shoots, right? If we understand what professional wrestling is, it is a different live action. It is a different combat sport than UFC. So how much can you do with the major names and the notorieties? Are we going to see when are we going to see Sugar Shane O'Malley run in and stop a pinfall, right? You know what I'm saying? Likewise, what is it going to be like to have more of the Undertakers of the world greeting Brock Lesnar at the end of a match, like we seen, several years ago? When are we going to see that true acknowledgement of each other in a live format? This is great for it to be at the arena. I'd like to be able, I want to be able to see, I'd love to see when we actually see them live together on the same card, or to have a card like that. I think WWE fans would be more hospitable to a UFC match in the middle of a card than having a WWE match in the middle of a UFC card. That's one thing that I think would be, that's one idea that I think would be a bit more difficult to acknowledge. But again, only from the side of WWE doing a match or doing a card, doing an event during or immediately or during or before a UFC card. But the other way around, oh, absolutely. That would be so fantastic to have a prelim, a mixed prelim, to have a pay-per-view or on an NXT pay-per-view. They got a prelim, run the pay-per-view, and then you move right on over to the main card of a UFC fight. Oh yeah, it's coming. I believe it.
Wow. And I mean, that's beyond anything I could have ever kind of conceived. But at the same time, this is the same company that, we've watched guys like Mankind, Mick Foley, go from the top of a steel cage before. So why not? I love the fact that now that the original McMahon regime has somewhat transitioned, to your point, I really do foresee it getting a little bit more kind of pushing the boundaries a little bit further. So there's no reason the Attitude Era couldn't survive today. If anything, not only has the UFC reiterated that with their entire business model,
yes,
but we've also kind of gotten somewhat glimpses of our past more recently as well. So I for one, like I said, I think it's great for the brand. I love that it's going to be at that particular venue.
Yeah.
And I'm thrilled for those NXT individuals, regardless of, length of tenure. That's going to be a magnificent opportunity that I believe, as you kind of highlighted, will serve as the spark plug for future events.
I was saying an Octagon rules match, man, that would be crazy. I mean, remember 26 years ago, there was the what was it called? There was the
I thought you were going to go with Ken Shamrock. Okay.
No. Right. There was the Brawl for All. The boxing rules, the bare knuckle kind of boxing rules tournament that they had. Bart Gunn ended up winning, right?
Yes.
They tried it then. I don't think they were ready. Well, I can't say they were. Well, they weren't ready, but they tried it early. I think now is a time where it can be better embraced. That's what I want to see more of. This is cool, but if it's, I'm waiting for it to be more than just the UFC banners all over the place where the turnbuckles are. I want to see actual involvement.
Absolutely. And for those watching, again, we have viewers, of course, on X, on Meta platforms, as well as YouTube. By all means, chime in. We appreciate the viewership, but also want to hear your thoughts on this and every other topic that we have coming up, not just today, but also Wednesday and every future week for that matter. So quickly, we're going to transition to something that I think you might find rather interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Which was a take that was from none other than, because we're going to transition brands to AEW. And here's a take from none other than Bill Goldberg, who, of course, I had tagged you on your favorite Bret the Hitman Hart.
Yes. Bill Goldberg. Let me tell you about Bill Goldberg. Okay? Bill Goldberg. Right? My man. Oh, so that is my one biggest grievance with Bret Hart is his position on Bill Goldberg, even after all this time.
And that's kind of why I love that the timing of all of this, right? We couldn't have made this up. What are your thoughts here? Well, I'm going to read the quote for everyone. I've talked to him, that being in reference to Tony Khan, a number of times throughout the past. This is where you're going to get the most blunt answer. You're going to get from me. The product is too cheesy. The product is too cheesy. It doesn't deserve to have whatever. Now you're going to get me going. But if there was a comparable, viable option as a competitor that would allow me to still look at myself in the mirror after I was a member of their roster, then it would be a consideration, but not a chance. I mean, look, we've seen how these past few weeks have gone for these guys. And now Bill Goldberg, as you just stated.
Bill Goldberg doesn't think something is cheesy. Bill Goldberg. Yo, what? What is he watching? We sit there. Us, me, myself. I go back and forth with you. I've watched the Bray Wyatt documentary. Understand what we're watching. We're talking about personalities like The Undertaker. That exists in the world of WWE. AEW, to be cheesy, that's not what I get from them. I don't get too cheesy. I don't know what the heck he's talking about. And I would say something else, but I got to understand where our bread is buttered, okay? But Bill Goldberg thinking a brand is cheesy like AEW, you know where you can go with that.
I was a little taken back from.
If I would have said there isn't anyone on the roster capable of giving me a test, I would have said that. To which I would reply, at your age, Adam Copeland, I think, would be a great place for you to start. But for you to be historically as limited as you are, you have one persona. I mean, yeah, you have one persona, and this works because if you have a persona of being a dominant figure, which he is, even at this age, that's great. But you have one angle that, in order to show your dynamic, in order for you to be dynamic, somebody got to help you. That's what Brock Lesnar did in your return in 2015 through 2018. Brock did that for you. You didn't do that for Brock. For you to be as limited as one-dimensional, to call a product cheesy, I think that's a bit much.
That's what really was strange to me about not just the timing, but the level of disdain, is that many of us remember, and that's why I was almost going to just frame it or phrase it to you in a question, which was, what do you remember about the takeaways of Bill Goldberg as a wrestler?
Bill Goldberg is still upset that they ended his streak. He thought it could go on forever.
Oh. Is that really what this is about?
Well, I can't say, I don't know if this was about, but I'm just saying the frame of mind of his opinion. Like, he thought that streak could have went. He thought that streak could have went forever. Like, how, for all the self-aggrandizement that guys like Bret Hart or Terry Bollea or Hulk Hogan have given themselves and have positioned themselves, even Triple H, a streak to never end. We haven't got that since Bruno Sammartino, right? He wanted a streak. He wanted a streak that that didn't exist for the guys who really cut their teeth in the business. He wanted a streak to last longer than Hogan. Hogan, if anybody, politics aside, if anybody deserved an unbeatable streak, consider what they've done for the business, it would have been a guy like Hogan. And not even he knew at times when to pass the torch. He dropped the belt to Yokozuna. He dropped the belt to Ultimate Warrior when it was decided that the company wanted to run with him. Bill Goldberg wanted a streak to last forever. It's hard to imagine him being in a position where he could do the job for someone.
Okay, so we've seen the Ryback comparisons.
Yep.
We've heard, really, right or wrong, that both couldn't wrestle.
They were stiff, very stiff.
And then we get a take of this magnitude. I almost feel like it really feels personal, and I'm not exactly sure why. Is it because Stinger was there? What other motivation could have possibly got him going to this point? Because he went off the deep end. Again, this was a basic interview here, and it didn't take much, pushing to get him to give into this.
I wonder if they got so much footage, maybe he made an overture to AEW that they went mum on. And so out of reaction, he said, "Oh, for real? You mum on me? Okay. All right. Yeah, they're probably too cheesy. I'd never go and do it." I'm surprised. I'm like, man, they got some other big fish. Like, why wouldn't he do it in JPW? You know what I'm saying? Why couldn't he do that, rather? I mean, he still has a name. He still does have a recognizable name in the world of professional wrestling. Okay.
Gully, I'm gonna ask you, I'm gonna get blunt here.
Yeah.
Would you tune in to AEW to watch Bill Goldberg?
Depending on who his opponent was. I told you, if Bill Goldberg was somehow to work a program with Adam Copeland, I'd watch that. Purely to see how Adam Copeland makes Bill Goldberg look good.
Really?
Yeah, because of Adam Copeland. This is a guy who Bill Goldberg, his character is only at home in front of WWE. That's the only area where he could come in and you can expect him to dominate. Because they will put a program up there for him. It was Brock. Listen, if we're shooting on this one, it was Brock Lesnar's idea for that 17-second match. Did you know that?
No, actually, I didn't.
The rematch where I think he speared him. He speared Brock, and then he got the jackhammer. That was Brock Lesnar's idea for that.
Wow.
That made Goldberg look better. It worked. I mean, because Goldberg it's believable. You believe that somebody, even at his age, he's got that left. That's fine. I'm not taking that away from him. He has a formidable presence that even at his age, he can still look like he can still go. But WWE is home for you.
So I have to ask, because I may be a little biased, and I'm trying not to be. I'm doing my best. Have you forgiven him as it pertained to winning that title?
You talking about when you talking about at Crown Jewel?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, listen, if Chris Jericho could make sense of it the way he did, then yeah, I don't have a problem with it. I don't blame him for that necessarily. Like I said, but that proves my point. WWE is the only program, is the only company that could make that make sense. And they can set him up for bigger and better things. Because, yeah, if you ask me to come back to win that title at Crown Jewel like that way, when you had so many others in line that were deserving of it, even at that time, only WWE can make that make sense.
And you know what? Not even Crown Jewel. I'm going to go, and that's why it was a little bit of a loaded question. I'm talking about Goldberg in 2020 versus The Fiend.
I hated it. Of course, I hated it.
So that's exactly why I'm asking here. I haven't forgiven him for that. And so for him, again, I think of
why not him though? See, you can't blame him.
Oh, yes, you can, because this to me seems just like a creative control Hogan.
Yep.
That was creative control Goldberg.
Do you think he can get away with that now that Triple H, Paul Levesque, is the head of content?
No, I don't even think. And I really hope Hunter does not make that call.
Yeah, if the money is there, I think he would.
Well, that's what Goldberg cares about, the check clearing.
Yeah, but I don't think that's what I'm saying. I don't think it'll happen. I don't think it would happen now. And if it did happen, the program that they run behind it better make a lot of sense. He was a benefactor of the legacy mindset and the belief that the name Goldberg could still draw big money. And like I said, Chris Jericho made sense of it. He was like, yo, if he can still draw, put it around him. I know how the money works, and the money is going to help us make better programs. But again, putting all of that into a bow, this is the reason why what he's saying about AEW, I can't take seriously, because you're only at home in the WWE under WWE programming. You only play home games. You cannot be a visitor. He could not go and do what Sting does. He cannot go and do what Bryan Danielson does, Adam Copeland, Christian.
Okay, but that's why I continue to ask: is it the validity of his statement? Because you could look at that and say, look what Sting did. Wouldn't that kind of suggest that he's wrong here?
It certainly suggests that he's wrong. I'm suggesting that I think the take is a signal to WWE that, hey, I'm all yours. Just give me the call. I'm only picking up the phone for you.
He speared Bray Wyatt 4 times. I think it was 4 times.
Mm-hmm.
Lives in my head rent free.
That lives in your head rent free. I'm gonna tell you what, the finger poke of doom lives in my head rent free.
Oh God.
And now listen, that's what I'm saying, bro. Of all the bad things about it, like I said, there's a level at which, all right, it's Bill Goldberg. Okay. That's it. All right. That's that. I get it. There's the floor for this thing isn't as low as probably yours. Nothing's gonna be the finger poke of doom. Okay. So I get it. I just feel like this here is him saying, yo, I only got eyes for you. Shoe up.
Oh,
that's what he's
wow.
singing. That's what he's singing to WWE.
Well, what we're going to be singing right now is the blues. We're going to take a full time out, and we will be right back.
All right.
Kate Cunningham, and you watching the Shop Report. I'm Homie Diallo, and you watching the Shop Report.
My name's Chris Murray, and you're watching the Shop Report.
Oh, you're Jay Knight, you're watching the Shop Report.
Max McKee, you're dropping in on the Shop Report.
Barbershop Jay, Quentin Hines, Super Bowl champion. I'm ready. Let's do it. I'm on.
Hi, I'm Mars Man. We're from Murphy Stadium, and you're watching the Shock Report.
Hey, I'm Billy Butler, and thank you for watching the Shop Report. Hey guys, I'm Les Norman, former Kansas City Royal, and you're watching the Shop Report.
Commander Brown, Detroit Rivers Mountain Training, and I'm watching the Shop Report.
Hey, this is Doug Flynn of the New York Mets. Well, a few other teams, of course, too. And you're watching the Shop Report.
I'm Matt Ramos, and you're watching the Shop Report.
How you doing? I'm Rajay Davis, and you're watching the Shop Report.
How you doing? This is Nelson Figueroa, former Major League pitcher with a lot of teams. You're about to listen to the Shop Report.
Billy's Blue Cup.
Absolutely.
I'll never not smile.
Coming to a T-shirt near you. That promo will save for quick time out, but I'll live plug it here. We have merch, of course, on the Instagram as well as the Facebook fan page.
Yes.
By all means, we just seen what the mug looked like. It looks absolutely fire. Great quality.
The coffee tastes, they say, it's unspeculated. The coffee tastes 15% better in the Shop Report mug. I'm just saying, listen, we can't substantiate, but that's what I've been hearing. That's what the rumors been telling me. 15% better. That's 15% more energy in your cup with a Shop Report cup. I'm telling you. I'm just saying.
All right, so just kind of wrapping things up here with Bill
Goldberg. I love Bret.
I think you're right. I didn't look at that from the perspective of an olive branch. I thought it was cynical in nature. Some people agree. And truthfully, I think most AEW fans wouldn't want to see Bill Goldberg there.
Correct.
That's why I was a little surprised by your take of depending on who was opposite of him. Because in my opinion, I side with that group that I wouldn't be necessarily interested in any capacity. So that's because of those spears to the Fiend and the creative control. And so we're going to move right along here to recap last week's Smackdown.
Yes.
We, of course, had Bayley and Naomi. We had LA Knight versus AJ Styles for the number one contender.
That's a curious one to me.
Once again, we had another number one contenders match, but this was for the tag titles. And so, kicking things right off, just as a quick recap with the AJ Styles versus LA Knight. Again, this is supposed to be, this is a WrestleMania rematch, even though we were, at this point, a few weeks removed. We talked about celebrating Cody Rhodes and his parade on Raw only to be a SmackDown product. Are we, now that we're finally getting to the business end, maybe.
Yeah.
So no more celebration tour.
It's gonna cool off. Now when we start to get to programs, see right now, I don't notice that he doesn't. I notice that he doesn't have somebody at his. He don't have an angle yet. Like he don't have the next program yet. Like his program is giving people the shots, right? We seen this. I think we seen this with John Cena. Remember, one of his 83 title reigns. He had just where I'm gonna give you a chance. I'm gonna give you a chance, and he did, and he won. So we seen it. But what's wrestling if a program idea hasn't been reused? I'm not necessarily upset with that. I just want, for me, if Cody Rhodes is who you say he is, and he is who you believe he is, set him up for a title run that's gonna last a while. And I don't know that the moves that they're making right now suggest that. Like I said, I feel like it's so. I mean, come on, man. We in the age where our attention span is like 53 seconds. You know what I'm saying?
Well, absolutely. And again, everybody at this point it has attention spans of rodents.
Yeah.
At least it seems that way. And as we dive into this match, again, they had a clean lockup from what I recall. They were
in the ring. LA Knight and AJ, right?
Absolutely. They were in the ring. They were out of the ring. They were into the announce table at times. It was
better than the WrestleMania match.
I was going okay. All right, so we agree with that.
And at first, at the end, when the bell rang, and the match was over, that was my immediate reaction, and I was like a bit upset with that. But then I thought about it, like, no, I gotta understand. The WrestleMania match took place first. So they got more time with each other, right? It's just that it seems to me like, and again, I kind of gotta wake up, because like, let's say I've been sleeping on wrestling, I have to wake up and recall my dream or go back into the recent history to find out like how many singles matches have they worked against each other. What was the program like leading up to the WrestleMania match? Because that match seemed like it was the one that should have happened on Smackdown 3 or 4 weeks prior. Okay. And the match that they had on Smackdown last Friday was the one that should have been at WrestleMania, because it was great. It was great. The two of them know each other very well, so they know, when to slow them down, when to speed up, when the pain is coming, and how to remove from that, and how to counter that. It was a better match. From a shoot perspective, why did LA Knight win at WrestleMania and not get the number one contendership? That one, that's things to make you go. Your thoughts, Double J? Why?
I was looking for answers myself. I completely agree with you that this went on better. And I think, Knight as a whole always kind of seems to be capable of bringing out the best in everyone that he goes against. It's funny you had said they had more time together, because unfortunately that's not always true, Jimmy and Jay.
No, but we talked about that. They had more time together, but these guys, the time that they've spent together, LA Knight and AJ, LA and AJ, I like to buy a vial. They've been across from each other, not next to. And again, remember we hinted at that. Well, I suggested that last week. It's the perspective, it's the dynamic changing. It still was shocking though, because you figure still, a person, you would think that there would be such be a much better chemistry between the two of them, because you figure like, okay, me knowing you and switching gears real quick to Jimmy and Jay and their match. The bottom line to it is, a perspective best when you see it from that perspective. Doesn't matter how long you know each other, right? It's like, for example, you come in and you guide us through the show, right? And then I watch Barbershop guide us through the show. You know, what it means to be in that leadership seat, to be in the captain's chair, guiding it along. I've seen and I've been a co-host for how many times, right? How many shows, right? Knowing the intro and outro. I promise you there'd be a different position when I welcome us in, bring us through the breaks, and bring us out. It's gonna feel different, and it's got to get familiar. There's no beating the perspective. That's Jimmy and Jay, and that's why I think we had the awkwardness. Contrast that to LA Knight and AJ. They've had a few programs together. They've never really been side by side in a significant way compared to them being across from each other. That's why we got a better match. Real quick though, why didn't we see the Styles Clash, or is he not doing that anymore?
You know, I was wondering that myself. I thought you were hinting at the new entrance music that he has.
I don't like it. I like the other one. I like the kind of hip hop one.
Do we ever like when someone changes their entrance? We do.
Yes. The Final Boss, and the one he had before that, and the Hollywood Rock before that. Yes,
but aren't those different?
Okay, Motorhead. Motorhead's version of the game. Even though I love the one that came before that, Motorhead's one. Okay, the one we didn't like when Stone Cold changed his. What was that? What was that? Right? We didn't like that. Okay. But no, we can do Voices in My Head, Randy Orton.
Oh, true. Okay.
Yeah, we like changes. Yep. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. So now it's set in stone here that at Backlash we're going to have Cody and AJ.
Yep.
Is it his time? You mentioned about a week or two ago that potentially Cody was a transitional champion.
Yeah, the idea that Cody could be positioning himself to have to chase it, but who's running with it? See, what other champions that I've seen, even guys who who taste it for the very first time, there's someone immediately on their heels coming after it, right?
Mm-hmm.
That person is sitting on a shelf right now. The two of them are sitting on the shelves or on the shelves, right? There's Roman Reigns, who's on cell phone calls. There's the Final Boss, who's got to film movies. There's Seth Rollins, who's rehabbing from injury, right? So I guess the three likely chasers, if you will, of the title are away from the desk, right? They can't take any phone calls, but please leave a message and we'll get back to you as soon as possible, right? So perhaps there isn't a gap, but so you get a guy like AJ Styles. Do I really think he can win it? See, I don't know that AJ Styles would just come up and just get it. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm into the soap opera aspect of WWE, of professional, well, at least of this title. I'm into the soap opera aspect. He's not going to have this type of run, this type of long-standing, leaving the company, building up a competitor, leaving the competitor to come back, to not do it, to spend a year chasing it, to get it, to drop it in a month. You've got to be kidding me. Ain't no way. That's why I would have rather seen LA Knight repeat his victory at WrestleMania, going into Smackdown, solidify himself as a number one contender for LA Knight and Cody Rhodes to have that main event at Backlash, to give LA Knight more seasoning for the next thing coming up for him, next year's WrestleMania. Because there's no attachment there. AJ Styles is a phenomenal talent. He's looking for one more run for us right off into the sunset. It should be the WWE title, not the Universal, not the Undisputed Championship. It should be the World Heavyweight title. I'm sorry, not the Universal Championship. But you put AJ Styles versus Cody. All right, it's gonna be a good match. I can't imagine Cody Rhodes losing that belt just so soon.
But we brought up, is it just because, like you said, everyone is apparently on vacation?
I think so.
It's as simple as that. There's no true formidable contender.
Who hates Cody Rhodes right now? And are they injured? Everyone who hates Cody Rhodes is at the Cleveland Clinic. They in pre-op. Or they're filming a movie.
So you think he's going to retain until at the very latest or earliest? When?
Maybe maybe that next big angle will emerge. It's got to emerge by SummerSlam. That's 4 months away.
And to your point with both Knight and AJ, whether they were interchangeable, you mentioned it yourself. AJ wants one more run. Yeah. I think now is actually the perfect time. Cody can drop it because he technically has finished that chapter. Yeah. And they're both, to my knowledge, I think SmackDown products and so unless something were to change, of course, over the next 10 days.
10 minutes rather, because we got night one tonight, right? The draft is Friday and Monday?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
So, to your point about both, I'm kind of struggling with where and, how can you, if you are Triple H and you're in the room, obviously you've heard Roman's taking phone calls at least, while he's away. Where do you go from here for either of those guys if they're not truly formidable enough? Or do you use this opportunity to your advantage, be able to kind of check those boxes and then insert the others as Cody tries to potentially win it back or upon doing so?
Randy Orton is not in a position to do it.
Nope.
AJ Styles is not in a position to do it. LA Knight is
not
in a position to do it.
Why is AJ not? You talked about
take it from Cody Rhodes right now immediately? First of all,
now when? If not now, when? Because every bit of what you brought up is absolutely accurate.
Where is the beef? Where is the beef? There is too much emotion behind Cody Rhodes winning it for somebody to just be like, oh yeah, all right, cool. Let's have a great match and shake hands and let me walk out with this title. Come on, man. It's got to have somebody that's angry, that has an angst driven about him. The person that is CM Punk or Seth Rollins, right? It won't be Roman Reigns. Why? Because when Roman Reigns gets back, the first thing he's going to do is not go after the title. He's going to get the bloodline in order. So we already know that. That's going to be a great story. It's going to involve The Rock, I personally believe. And that makes sense because that's the angle that we're driving it. You know what I mean? There's time there. He's going to be preoccupied even when he comes back. He'll eventually get around to getting that title, but he's not going to be able to do that immediately when he first comes back. He's got to restore the order, then go get the title. In the meantime, right? What do you have? Who hates Cody Rhodes?
This is where I'm going to take a different angle.
Okay.
When these two meet.
Yep. What two?
It will be the first time.
Cody and AJ?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Exactly.
However,
yep.
This is not the first Rhodes family member that AJ has fought.
Come on, build it for me then.
TNA, Dusty Rhodes, AJ Styles.
Dusty?
Mm-hmm.
Not Dustin. Dusty.
Mm-hmm.
I beat your daddy. I can beat you. All right. Let's hear it. Okay, let's have it out. All right, let's flesh this thing out.
That's why not only have we seen, of course you brought up the Viper. The Viper beat Dusty in a bull rope match, I want to say like 15 years ago.
Yep.
But if we get heel AJ Styles, and as you pointed out, you've seen the belt from the final boss saying Mama Rhodes, but I beat Daddy Rose.
They got to start talking about it now. What I do foresee is LA Knight spoiling the party for AJ.
Whoa. Why?
Why? Because I beat you at WrestleMania, but I didn't. But I lost my shot to really get the title. I'm darn sure ain't about to let you get it before I do. So LA Knight can go heel.
You know, again, I'm going with the idea. I think you're absolutely right that AJ has one more run.
Yeah.
That's it. One and done.
Yep.
This is the most opportune time, and you have the storyline. He's crossed paths with I thought Dustin as well, Gold Dust, of course, years ago. But that would have been like essentially like battle royal style, nothing, you know, just one-on-one.
Right.
But to say I beat your dad and not in those words, you know, something little. Heel AJ Styles knocks him off, even if it's for 3 months, 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I think it's there. I think the recipe is there because of the history. And that's what all this has been about with Cody Rhodes.
He ain't about to drop that thing. Listen, he ain't about to drop that thing after a month, man. I just can't imagine that happening. I can't imagine it happening. And then when
we've seen people drop titles after what, 30 seconds?
Yeah, there's no money in the bank. There's no monies in the bank. The bank is as a zero balance right now.
Well, again, something to give some consideration to those out in the watching. Of course, by all means, what do you guys think? Let us know. In the comment section there, we'll gladly put it up. But yeah, we'll kind of keep going here with some additional matches. We had that tag team number one contender match also, and of course that included Solo and Tama asking for KO. Ultimately, it was the Street Profits that came away with the victory. Were you expecting it?
No, I wasn't. I thought it was it was DIY. The younger, the high flyer guy. Yeah, for the Street Profits to win that. It's a pleasant surprise. I'm not upset about it. I just thought it just seemed like the likely scenario, the build up and everything that I'm seeing. Those guys were almost there at those moments. I thought it would have been them, but for it to be the Street Profits now, are they going to take the gold?
It was as chaotic as that match was.
Right.
Everything seemed pretty convincing to me. I thought it was a good match overall, kind of an excellent one for that matter. But I definitely didn't see this push coming.
The push for the Street Profits?
Absolutely. I think it's a push?
Or are they the best tag team to give those guys? Or are they the best enhancement?
Oh, now you got me, completely. Man, I'm like, I guess I am the host today, so I guess I am going to, fill his shoes by flip-flopping.
Yeah.
So, yes, that's a very good point. I overlooked it. I thought, okay, maybe there's something more to this. I don't, obviously the awesome truth has been entertaining.
Yep.
And we'll get to them, of course, today. But I think you're right. The more that kind of lingers, the more I believe that it was simply the best available.
So wait, I got a question. Were there 2 number one contender matches? So on Raw, who won the number one contender? Who's the number one contender for Awesome Truth's titles?
I thought you were referring to it just in general. I was referring to the AJ Styles and LA Knight match.
Oh, my bad.
We do have a comment. However, bear with us.
We appreciate the sentiment.
Absolutely.
Once we get the translate on there, we'll figure out what you say. But please keep it coming. We're gonna figure it out. We're gonna learn something.
Of course. And so, kind of moving it right along here. I feel like there's going to be a feud brewing between them and maybe Aldis and Adam Pearce going into maybe Survivor Series potentially, something that kind of extends. I don't know if you saw when Bate kind of went into he went over the top rope, and I was a little surprised and caught off guard by that because it seemed kind of like when that table fell a little early.
Yeah.
So, So, needless to say, then to kind of keep it moving along here, we had Carlito versus Santos Escobar. A lot of things went on there. We had Carlito with Zelina Vega, of course, and so they each had their side pieces, and then of course Escobar comes away with the win. Rather uneventful for me. Any additional takeaways or thoughts from you on that one?
I'm just trying to figure out. I was just enamored by what Google Translate told us our friend was saying, and I don't know what he meant. I don't know what they meant. I'm sorry, but we want to acknowledge you though.
Sure, absolutely.
That's what Google Translate said. He said,
"We're acknowledging like it's the head of the table." Yeah,
we will acknowledge. Yeah. So Carlito seeing that was cool. Some of those matches, they made for good matches to pass the time. I didn't exactly have to. I didn't make that my mandatory bathroom break. You get what I'm saying? When I watch it, so it was cool. It was good to see Carlito back there. You know what I mean? I was actually surprised that he's been back and he's been fairly active, but nothing major. Nothing major that I can say about it. In terms of the match, in terms of it advancing any type of story or any type of character or any type of ringmanship. So, but it was cool. It wasn't a waste of my time. Oh, what's in that cup? Double J, what's in that cup?
Something that's got me. Never mind.
All right.
Needless to say, so speaking of cups and things of that nature, have you seen the memes about Sheamus? The internet is undefeated.
Yeah.
I mean, you have Father Time and you have the internet in no particular order.
Right, Father Time and the internet. And when they link up, oh boy, it's like the mega powers, man. Father Time and the internet. Yeah, I've seen some of them, boy. Oh man. Merciless. Like, he's back. Like, who is that? Like, you remember when Magic Johnson returned in 95 and 96?
Oh no, don't do that. Oh my
bruh.
Nope. I think that is an appropriate time for a full timeout, Chris Webber style, with no timeout. You're going a minute and a half. Get me out of here.
I'm Jordan Gudeman, and I'm the founder and CEO of Eddie G's Cookies. I was first diagnosed with a nut allergy when I was young. At the time, there weren't a lot of labeled items that said if there may contain nuts or there are nuts in the food, so my brother and sister and I baked a lot at home, and we enjoyed treats from mixes and things like that, but I noticed that it was not the same as what my friends were enjoying, and I started making up my own recipes. When it was time to pick a career, I decided to start a bakery so I could share my treats with everybody else. When I started creating my recipe, I was taking in all the things that I thought I was missing out on. A soft, chewy center, a crisp outside crust, and a taste that is just like it came out of the oven at a bakery. When I put all those things together, I had come up with a recipe for a dream cookie. Eddie G's Cookies only uses the finest ingredients. We have all natural flavorings, no preservatives, and every cookie is made in a nut-free environment. The best part about Eddie G's Cookies is that they can be delivered right to your door. You can share them or not. We won't tell.
Yeah. Try them.
Right.
Try them.
Yes. Agree.
Try them. You'll like them.
Gluten-free. I mean, I've heard on more than one occasion they are the best gluten-free cookies anybody's ever had. So,
and that's a strong statement.
Absolutely. So again, big shout out to them. Diving right back into this, that wasn't, so there were some additions in terms of, pounds by Sheamus, and then there were some subtractions that took place. How did you feel with the very bizarre timing of folks being released by WWE last week?
You say it's bizarre timing. I mean, when is a good time?
Well, okay, all right, touche.
Yo, hey, if you're gonna fire me, like Chris Voss says, the FBI negotiator, he says, you never fire people on a Friday, right? You fire them on a Monday.
Well, but here's the thing: in true Friday style, they got fired on their day off.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, you fire a guy on Monday. Give him time to figure it out. Friday, he can't call nobody. Ain't nobody to call. He got to sit on it. He got to stew on it. That's what Chris Voss says. It's great strategy. I've fortunately haven't had to fire anyone, but just know that if you're working good, just know what Monday is going to look like for you.
So
but they did fire him. Jinder Mahal. I mean, think about it. What could they have done? Where do you think that they could have fit into the direction that they were going, the WWE is going right now, with either brand or with any of the titles? Where could they have fit?
Well, here's the thing. They were plugging Indus Sher all that time, and Indus Sher is now out of here.
Yeah. That's true.
So I thought it was very strange because we talk about company men often on the show.
Yeah.
And poor Jinder Mahal, man. Like, they had him to have him in true kind of, if we want to say it, kind of like Indian or kind of, gear. And prior, you had him in the 3-man band. Like, what is happening?
But hey, he had a run at WWE champion. He did. Shocker. He had a run as WWE champion. I mean, to the likes of which, how many times did he beat Randy Orton? Twice?
I want to say, I was going to say, leaning towards twice.
So whatever angle he was in before or after, the fact is he had peak physical condition, and he beat the legend killer. He beat Mr. RKO out of nowhere.
And you're telling me you can't
still
figure out what to do with him?
I don't know. I'm telling you, man, I'm saying, bro, like I'm becoming more of a proponent, man. I'm telling you, I think it's because the pay-per-views.
What do you mean?
You can't tell full stories if you can't see them pay off.
You know, I've seen a lot of mixed feelings about the releases and specifically not just the timing, but some were really kind of happy in some ways because they felt like this was a sign of things to come for talent on the roster that just wasn't being used.
Yeah.
And we spent, the last two shows, I keep bringing up NXT in going, what this draft could do. And that seems like the best possible destination for these guys that, again, if you're capable of having a title run, going against quality Hall of Fame caliber individuals like Randy Orton, I think it's a surefire Hall of Famer, then you're telling me you can't. I struggle with that part of it, right? I'm someone that loved the old, WCW NWO video game that was simply ahead of its time, and being able to have, factions and you being able to move and edit
faction.
Absolutely.
Was that was on Revenge, right?
Correct. Absolutely,
yes.
It was.
Yes. Yeah.
And now we're at this point where it's like, if I don't see you on TV every week, or as you mentioned, those the dark matches,
yes,
then we have no space for you.
Well, we got to consider this.
Kills me inside a little bit.
Well, consider this. Even watching the Bray Wyatt documentary. Hold on one second. Even watching the Bray Wyatt documentary, there was a point where they didn't know what to do with the character or the talent. So he was released. It was because they couldn't figure out what to do. And having him in the locker room meant that he was just sitting there and you didn't know what to do. So what happened was, do you got something for me yet? Do you got something for me yet? Do you got something for me yet? Do you have something for me yet? Do you have something for me yet? Do you have something for me yet? You had to keep answering that question so long as you had him on the roster. But you didn't really have the capacity to think of an answer that was of quality. So he got released. Had some time to figure himself out in this position, right? And then when Bray Wyatt returned, what happened? Gold, right? Same that could be said for Drew McIntyre. Remember, he was released.
Yes. Yep.
Rebuilt himself, came back in a much better physique and with a purpose and with a drive and with better mic skills and all the things you would need to make him a formidable guy atop a roster or in the mid to main event ready, right? Main event ready talent. The point is, releases are just the idea that this business or the WWE is only big enough to sustain a certain level or a certain amount of angles in the stories and of characters, that rather than have you on hold and do nothing and pay you for less than what you could be simply because we can't figure it out for you yet, we'll give you some time to figure it out. Help us with an idea. Because perhaps maybe it might be the case that you guys are waiting for us to create something for you when, given the amount of attention that we have, we need you to kind of do that for yourself. Tell us who you are, which is kind of, again, referencing another Bray Wyatt. Tell us who you are and show it to us. And that's what a guy like that did. That's what a guy like Bray Wyatt did. Rest his soul. That's what I think of these releases. It's a part of the business. They don't know where to go with them. So why have them languishing?
Yeah. I again, just giving kind of what I prefaced, I feel like the model that UFC has should create more opportunities. That if we want to take your model with the A program, the B program, there really is room for C, D, E, F, and so on and so forth. That is still very much profitable. That doesn't seem like it would really change because there's so many house shows in between that there is enough of an opportunity for those that really watch. Right, I get on NASCAR fans all the time because they watch on Sunday, but they're not really watching Saturday or Friday for that matter.
Right.
And at that point, and of course they have that old, that's not real racing anymore. So again, they seem old and out of touch. But here, give us a reason. Allow someone to truly develop and build themselves and give from a creative standpoint, it should be a dream come true, right? In the UFC, a lot of it is done. When you brought up O'Malley, he was a perfect example of that. When he first came with kind of the fro and Snoop Dogg was coincidentally, because we've seen him at Mania, but that was who was on the call. And then a legend was born.
Right.
You're telling me that are there just not enough Vince Russos?
Man, listen, we not about to keep doing this with Vince Russo every week. I'm gonna tell you that right now. All right. I gave the guy I gave him a couple of pointers. All right. But hold on now. We're not about to have a whole bunch of Vince Russos. Yes, you're right. We're not. But no, I just think that it was of the 6, put it this way. We will prove ourselves right or wrong if of the 6, they end up becoming breakouts in Japan or at AEW. That cheesy product per Bill Goldberg. Bret Hart, man. My guy, man. Bret Hart.
I love it. I'm telling you, I absolutely love it.
Bill Goldberg.
So bad it's good.
It is so bad. Good. Hey, listen, Bret Hart one time had ranked himself, and he actually ranked himself in comparison to Hogan. I think I've shared this on the show before, but he ranked the two of them based off of 3 criteria: the look, the mic work, and their ability. So what he gave himself was, he said, as far as look, I said, I'm gonna give myself I think he gave himself an 8. He says I have a look, I think my look stood apart. It was something that was catchy. It was, and he gave Hogan, I think he gave Hogan a 10. It's like, Hogan got a look, right? I mean, he's big, got the muscles, he's got the appeal and the radio.
Even though he was balding, right? He hates that, right?
Yeah, right. I mean, he's been bald his whole career. Like Hogan with hair, that's crazy, right? It really is, bro. Hogan with a full head of hair. Come on, man. It would shock you.
Bosley, just a missed opportunity.
Imagine if Hogan went to Bosley. Bro, for real. He would lose endorsements. Like, I'm telling you, man, he would lose money. Hogan with no
headband or bandana, none of
imagine that,
even
man.
The NWO days, right? Hollywood Hogan.
Yeah. But so Bret Hart gave himself, he said he gave himself, I think, a 7 or 8. And he gave Hogan a 10. As far as mic work, he gave himself a 3. Bret Hart gave himself like a 3 or 4, 3. And he gave Hogan a 10. Wrestling ability, he gave himself a 10 and he gave Hogan a 2. But if I might have said it wrong to our show, to our viewers, but I will tell you this. What I do distinctly remember is that overall, when he went on this, after he analyzed it, he actually ranked Hogan overall 1 point better than him.
You know what? But how much of that is just Bret's humility? If you were to role reverse that, how big of a margin? What's the over under on how much better Hulkamania says he is?
Oh, because Hogan's going to go to the numbers. Seemed like I was a bigger draw all the time, 100%. And it's undeniable. Hogan has a persona. Think of it this way, and I know we segue far from where we were at, but come on, man. Pro wrestling isn't what pro wrestling is without Hulk Hogan. No matter how much better and more authentic it was with guys like Brett and Dusty and Rick. Hulk Hogan's name. There are very few times I can say GOAT. I don't like to say GOAT in any other sport. But if there's a GOAT of professional wrestling, Hulk Hogan possibly got to be it, even if he's not my favorite, because of what he meant to the business and where the business went and how relevant his name remained long after his prime.
Now, wait a minute.
Nobody sustained the business in the way. Come on, man. Come on.
No. I'm just
all the money that Ric Flair had, all the money and access to capital and the reach that Ric Flair had down south.
Mm-hmm.
Hogan made wrestling a household name.
But yet we had a top 50 list.
Yeah, that list is trash. That list was a trash bag and a half. All right. There wasn't enough. Listen, that list was fecal matter. It was a biohazard.
Oh, no.
It was. It really was, man. How? We went through this, man. How?
But your guy.
My favorite guy should not have been number one.
What? But why? Because
I feel
Hulk
like
Hogan's criteria, because of being a bigger draw, even though, again, we don't have a Bash at the Beach 2000 debacle, colossal, it was certainly memorable, without creative control Hogan, right? You got to evaluate the good and the bad here. He was not that type of
the
draw.
bad part about Hogan,
losing it at that point in time.
The bad part about Hogan was he did have too much creative control, and he had to be forced to see it from another perspective. I feel like.
And who's that? Eric Bischoff's?
No, Vince McMahon. Right. Remember, it had to be a presence only as strong as a Vince McMahon to compel Hogan to drop that title to Yokozuna in '93 before he left, before WCW. Right? You had to be, for as much respect as Kevin Nash and rest of his soul Scott Hall give Hogan for who he was to the business, that Wolf Pack, that wasn't purely an angle. It wasn't just an angle. That was real heat behind that.
Actually, I'm sure that there's a lot of people that are viewing in right now that don't know that history. Yeah. Educate them a little bit on that.
The idea of it is Hogan did, the favorite nations clause that Hall and Nash had, the big money that Hogan remained having, and that creative control became a problem after a while because in the end, these guys have egos too, especially, and I would say, especially, and this is me just interjecting my opinion, with Kevin Nash understanding that in WWF at the time, he didn't really draw as big as a champion. And it seemed like a bit unfair because I don't think it was him. I don't think it was much of him and what he did on his own. It was just the product, the overall product that WWF was giving at the time. And Kevin Nash was supposed to be the champ at a time when you still had circus characters and clown shows. And WCW was bringing a more, because they were down south, it was more wrestling. So it was more authentic, what you were seeing from there. So Kevin Nash probably would have done better in a more authentic looking product versus the characters. And I think he wanted to prove that he could still be a big draw. And so with creative control, like, hey, yeah, you my buddy and all, Hogan. Yeah, you my buddy and all, Kevin. But like, we really want to be able to move this thing around. And Hogan probably was like, hey, well, I am that dude. And so after a while, even if you're best friends and they not moving the seat for you to get a better view, it's gonna be some fractures there. You get what I'm saying? So it was genuine heat behind that. It got patched up, of course. I mean, remember when WCW folded up shop, it was the NWO was represented by 3 people going back to WWE. That was Nash, Hall, and Hogan. So everything reconciled itself. But all I'm saying is Hulk Hogan my favorite word is definitely. Hulk Hogan definitively put wrestling in the minds or in the creative space of American sports entertainment or American entertainment culture. Ric Flair certainly is number 2 or up there, but I don't know that Ric Flair eclipses Hogan's appeal of this product being the mainstream household name that it is.
Gosh, I just look at those late 90s shows and
he couldn't even wrestle, bro.
This is what I'm saying.
Point.
Like, and that's why I am so torn on what you're saying. He couldn't even
wrestle, right? I'm telling you, he couldn't even wrestle. But why? Listen, but what he did do,
you had, as you called it, an indie superstar, like the poster child of doing it to just almost perfection with Bret Hart. In perfection versus persona.
Yeah.
And you're gonna give the edge to persona because he put butts in seats like a suit. Oh man.
If you ask the common person, the unaffiliated wrestler, the unaffiliated fan.
Oh, stop it. We hear those people on the Super Bowl. Come on.
Okay, if you ask the Super Bowl viewers, which of these two, give me this name and give me this name, right? I show you a picture of a guy in red and yellow ripping his chest, ripping his t-shirt open. And I show you a picture of a guy in pink and black with a title. How many people will recognize Hogan without a belt? And how many people will struggle to recognize Bret Hart with the dang WWE title, with the winged eagle belt around his shoulder?
So now popularity. Oh man.
Because what did
Kleenex are we really doing this?
What did popularity do in terms of influence and money and overall brand appeal to the product?
But you said
did give a. What I'm saying is, all right. The fault that I have with Hogan is Hogan could have let Bret Hart have his run at champion, and Hogan's light would have never been diminished. The problem with Hogan is his ego was he didn't recognize truly he was comfortable doing everything, and he didn't need the belt to be who he is. Like the Undertaker, he didn't really ever need a title to be the undeniable presence in the world of professional wrestling that he is. Hogan felt like he needed to have that belt around him in order to do so. He would have made a lot more. He would have had a lot fewer enemies, and he would have made a lot more money for the business if a guy like Bret would have been able to battle him, truly battle him.
But this is why I'm asking you. That to me is a sign of being vulnerable, that he felt like he's lesser than. It almost is contrasting to your point that he was such a recognizable or identifiable draw that why would he even need to have it at that point if the brand was sustainable?
The brand was. I'm saying his ego got in the way, but that's the thing. That's how potent Hulkamania and Hulk Hogan was. It survived his own ego. Is what I'm saying. Because clearly Savage could have had a run at it. He could have had Bret. He could have did. See, Ric Flair didn't have that problem. Ric Flair didn't really like Bret Hart, and Ric Flair dropped the title to Bret clean.
But that shows you. This is where I'm going with it. You're talking about someone like Flair. That's a perfect example.
Yeah.
From a charisma and all of that type of thing. Mm-hmm. And then we brought up execution, and that's where, of course, Bret Hart immediately comes to mind.
Yes.
And yet we're still giving. Was it simply because of age at that point? Because Ric Flair was still going.
Yeah. Ric Flair was still, I mean, he came to WWE in 92. I think he was 40 at his first stint in WWE. He was 40. He still had the juice, you know? And I don't mean that like steroids, but I'm saying he still had enough.
Probably that too, but
yeah, they call it that too.
A few other things.
Right. But he still had that. He still had enough. Still, bro, the world of professional wrestling shook. All right. Bet. Take this wager.
All right.
Could the NWO idea have worked if Sting had been the third?
How long did they try to get Sting?
A while. He didn't think that it would work.
That's kind of my point here. Look at
could it have? But now here's the thing. Here's the divine about it, because I didn't think much of Sting during that time. Because I still wanted to see activity, and like, you know, he spent the whole year not wrestling, kind of like to build up the character or whatever. It was cool for him, but for somebody who like wanted to see Sting, you know, he ain't never seen him. All he did was just watch the same show that you watched with his little crow at the side, well, big crow at the, you know. But my point is, a guy like Hulk Hogan doing that which he did, it changed sports entertainment. Ric Flair couldn't have done that. Nobody but a character like Hulk Hogan could have made the NWO, who could have clinched the NWO work. Because I mean, it worked. It was probably already over. Like when I say over, like over with the fans, like the idea was kind of clicking in. But what Hogan did by being that third person, his presence, his persona, everything he had, that moment in professional wrestling, because it was him, clinched it. And it changed the landscape of sports, entertainment. Not even Bret Hart could have done it.
And again, we had, you know, we still see the ripple effect of that today. Obviously, the LWO exists today, you know, largely because of that.
Yeah, think of it this way. It was a work that presented itself as a shoot that basically helped to tear down the fourth wall, because you really thought it was for real. And even when he joined, you really thought it was for real, right? Mm-hmm. It was like, man, Hogan a bad guy. And in the 90s, when they wanted to blur the line between good guys and bad guys, when WWE started with the whole idea, when Vince McMahon made that cut the promo about shades of gray, and there are no more good guys and bad guys. Bro, he said that late because we already had that, because the moment Hogan went over to the dark side, people knew he was a heel, and it was still air guitar and the Jimi Hendrix when Voodoo Child came. You get what I'm saying? Like, he was over. Like, who else could still be a bad guy being a good guy? We only see repeats of that. The only other guy to get that done was The Rock. And it's because we've seen it before.
It's Scott Hall, Razor Ramon.
Yeah.
So with that being said, we're going to jump right back into it right after this quick timeout.
What it do, sports fans? It's your man BSJ from the Shop Report. And guess what? The shop is now open for business, baby. If you're on Facebook, go to our fan page, The Shop Report, click on more, and then shop to view all products. Or if you're on Instagram, click on the shop tab to see all our products. I mean, what you want me to do? I'm selling merch here.
Yes, sir. And as a reminder, that is on the Facebook, Instagram as well, and will be shipped directly to your door. So no middleman. To round out, SmackDown here before we dive into Raw, we had one final match, which was Bayley and Naomi. I had mentioned it a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
And shows Damage Control and Bianca Belair and everybody in the sky boxes was certainly felt like it was kind of almost pay-per-view style.
Yeah.
Simply put, Tiffany Stratton got involved, and so she decided to take on everybody. So no contest. And any thoughts on this one?
So what's the name of the faction that was sitting across from my homies? What was the name of the? Damage Control, right? Is that Damage Control? That's the four. That's the four of them, right? Okay. And yeah, so she definitely she definitely got her initiation for sure. I hated that, man, but that was a pretty moonsault though. Oh, it was perfect. I ain't gonna lie, it was perfect.
All right, we got a spoiler alert. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right. Well, just to before I dive into that, just really quick, it only 4 matches. And it kind of was still at somewhat of a hectic pace. So very different kind of SmackDown, especially given how long the show is. I was really surprised that it was only 4.
You know what, bro? That just not sank in. It was only 4 matches on that SmackDown.
Yes.
Dang, they stretched that out for 2
Someone in the history books would have to go and find for me, like I just don't remember, like nothing comes to mind with the show that had that few, and was still, it was still entertaining.
Wow.
So we're gonna transition to Raw because there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
One of our matches for the day, of course, was going to be a battle royal to crown a new women's world champion. And we have our winner.
Well.
Live reaction. What do you think? Maxine Dupree.
Yeah. Well. And like I used to say as a child, good congratulations.
I'm really surprised by this. Again, we have the Liv Morgan, of course, Revenge Tour, which right away we know, the whole reason this Battle Royal was even able to take place is because of her taking out Rhea Ripley, which, if you remember, what was often forgotten, forgot that Liv had gotten hurt also.
That's right. Yeah.
So cooler heads prevailed for me when that kind of sunk in. But seeing that now I'm really kind of, I'm a little perplexed. I'm thrilled for Maxine Dupree. I'm really intrigued to see what your thoughts are. That we've talked about transitional champions, and we've talked about I thought Liv Morgan naturally would have been the immediate natural choice. Yeah, and this isn't just a curveball. This is like I'm striking out swinging, not even swinging, and looking.
You're striking out looking, right? Well, I mean, it's Maxine Dupree. Hold on, my bad. Wait a minute. Double J, I can't say that. Uh-oh, where'd you go? Double J. Oh, you froze. Or did I freeze? Double J.
SK Cunningham, and you watching the Shop Report. I'm Homie Diallo, and you watching the Shop Report.
It's Chris Murray, and you're watching the Shop Report.
Oh, you're Jay Knight, you're watching the Shop Report.
Max McKee, you're dropping in on the Shop Report.
Barbershop Jay, Quentin Hines, Super Bowl champion. I'm ready. Let's do it. I'm on.
Hi, I'm Mars Edwards from Mercury Stadium, and you're watching the Shock Report.
Hey, I'm Billy Butler, and thank you for watching the Shop Report. Hey guys, I'm Les Norman, former Kansas City Royal, and you're watching the Shop Report.
Commander Brown, Detroit Rivers Mountain Training, and I'm watching the Shop Report.
Hey, this is Doug Flynn of the New York Mets. Well, a few other teams, of course, too. And you're watching the Shop Report.
I'm Matt Ramos, and you're watching the Shop Report.
How you doing? I'm Rajay Davis, and you're watching the Shop Report.
How you doing? This is Nelson Figueroa, former Major League pitcher with a lot of teams. You're about to listen to the Shop Report.
All right, we are back. It's interesting that we had something that took place during the show was Dark Gable, as we've called him.
Dark Gable, yes.
Talking down to Maxine Dupree. And then we get this result.
Right.
She caught a lot of strays in this thing. Again, we know we have heel Chad Gable, but do you think what are your thoughts about him really kind of going in on his own group a little bit here?
Let me tell you something about going in. No, in my Savage. Yeah, that sounds a little bit familiar. Hey, listen, sometimes negative reinforcement gets a positive reaction. It's tough to watch. It's a tough watch sometimes. And not everybody can thrive on that negativity. But as we can see, we got a new women's champion. So what say you, Double J?
Well, again, I'm not. For one, if this turns out to be totally true here, I'm not quite sure. I would be completely shocked, because here's why. Something that's worth noting is, if you remember, a long time ago there was the Robert Stone brand.
Hold on, say again.
There was a while ago, there was the Robert Stone brand.
Okay.
And there was essentially everyone, with the exception of Maxine Dupree, that had joined had been released. With the exception of not just Maxine Dupree, but Chelsea Green was released and then of course came back more recently. So I'm really intrigued to see, what ends up, if that turns out to have been the case. But what we're going to go into first is right away in during today's episode. We have a match card of course, that Battle Royal. We have the Tag Team Championship match between the Awesome Truth and DIY.
Yep.
And we have Ricochet and Andrade versus Dominic and JD. And then we have the return of Imperium, we'll say, and Gunther specifically. So, of course, we started with both Pat McAfee, Michael Cole, really kind of breaking everything down. Jey Uso comes in for a promo, but then Damian Priest steps in. JD tries to sneak attack and, of course, levels Damian.
Bad move.
Aren't they in your neck of the woods today?
Yeah, Cincinnati, I believe. Wait, no, Columbus.
Yeah,
that's right. They're here. It was so poorly promoted. I didn't know that they were here until Friday watching SmackDown. I didn't have a clue. Otherwise, I didn't have a clue.
What I was going to ask you is, how do you, we talked about a long time ago that Damian Priest, or better yet, Roman Reigns, how he elevated himself as it pertained to on the mic.
Yeah.
Damian Priest, where do you put him within mic skills specifically?
You talking about between Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes? On the Roman Reigns to Cody Rhodes scale, or the Roman Reigns to John Cena scale?
To the John Cena scale.
All right. Let's say we're talking about a football field, and you are John Cena is touchdown territory, and every mark, bro, he probably at like the 30-yard line. I think almost at the 50-yard line. If John Cena is the place you, if the John Cena end zone is where you want to be, probably at the 30-yard line. I don't know. I don't know if our fans would agree with me, but I think he certainly there's room for improvement. But I think he's. I don't think people are gonna tune out, when he got the mic. Here's a question for you though, real quick. When we're talking about mic work, what do you think of the Undertaker's mic work?
Why would you do that?
Come off that PTR. Come on, let me see your face. Come on, you always hide your face when the tough questions arrive. See, people gonna start figuring you out. Double J, you always hiding your face in tough talk time. All right, when we got triple T time, tough talk time. Come on, answer that. Hey, give me the scale. Where is the Undertaker mic wise?
I don't know if you've ever noticed, but he always seems to take the part of the block off on it.
Yeah, I did.
I don't know if you've ever caught that or not.
Yeah, right. He doesn't really. Yeah, I've noticed that. How does he get away? Well, I mean, he the elder statesman in the locker room, so I guess he can get away with that.
The thing is, you don't. Here's the thing, because I think we both are on the same page. But I'm gonna twist this a little bit because
you scared to say it because you think you got the last ride coming.
No, that's why the camera's on.
I ain't afraid, man. I ain't afraid of no tombstone power drivers. I ain't afraid to get chokeslammed. Come on, man. His mic word left something to be desired.
No. I'm going to say, remember that the character. I mean, we're on record of knowing that he's cut some of the worst promos of all time. All right.
Mhm.
But I couldn't pick his best if we had to, unless I literally spent all day looking at each of them.
But could you pick his worst? Nope. Could you
No.
spend all day looking through all that?
I would say, but remember, how many other characters have the uniqueness as his? And I think that's really what's getting in the way. Now, it could.
Okay.
I'm going to give him a pass for that reason, and of course, him being a legend, but largely because of the when he did remember the biker years? Those were not that bad, but when he's, even when he was the dead man, he was kind of on. Kane was the better of the two, if we had to go there, of course. Yeah. But
voice box Kane. Yeah. The Rock.
I think you would do it that.
Oh man.
Oh no. We're never gonna get media credentials. We keep doing this.
I'm only repeating what The Rock did. I mean, I'm celebrating what I saw.
Oh yeah, good point. Again, if I had to, I would say 6 out of 10.
For the Undertaker.
Yeah, his mic skills can rest in peace.
Okay. All right, so then where's Damian Priest? At the Undertaker 6.
Why did you set me up there? Oh man, I can't run for this now.
Got him. You said it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I did, unfortunately, and I walked right into that glass door.
Right.
Yeah. Oh no. This is unbelievable. It needs some work. It really needs some work.
Yeah, I like them report cards. Excellent, outstanding, excellent. Average needs improvement. Yeah, needs improvement. You got that in.
Remember when it was just satisfactory or
unsatisfactory? Yes, unsatisfactory. Outstanding, right? Did you have the report cards? You had the ones that had that was the actual cardboard that you had to. Did you actually have those, or did you have papers?
We had both at one point in time.
I had the actual cardboard card that came home in the manila envelope.
I had an experience once.
Oh boy, you tried to sign it.
No, and I will say that the thought had crossed my mind. Now, thankfully, I did turn it around and ended up an honor roll student to round out my junior and senior year and led on to bigger and better things.
Sure.
But certainly there was a point in time where, as everyone finds out, that there is there's something they're just a little deficient at.
Yeah.
And that was the worst, right? When you had, what was the need to get it signed? What was that all about? just to make sure you ruined someone's weekend? And why on a Friday? Why not a Monday?
Right.
So everybody's over it by Friday.
Monday, right. Why didn't they send them home on Monday? Right.
Look at the trauma. This is okay. By all means, if you have some report card stories, we would love. I'll throw them up on the screen, certainly.
Right.
So yes,
you need to heal from the report card. Do you still need to heal from your junior year? Or hey, does it go back further? Do you still need to heal from that 7th grade report card? Right.
No, it was actually 4th grade. It was 4th grade. It was 4th grade science.
Hold on. So let me see. Hold on. Let me see the double J if I can date this. 4th grade science for you. 4th grade science would have been 4th grade would have been for you 13, 97. So we talk about this would have been Nintendo 64 era.
No.
This would have been Super Nintendo. 4th grade science for you would have been Super Nintendo.
64 was not quite yet released.
1996. No, we talking about 96. And then if we talk about if we really want to get into
what? Wait a minute.
Yeah.
I didn't get it. Yeah, you're right. Okay, so it was out. I just wouldn't get it until that upcoming fall.
Right. Oh, so in fairness, we're both right in that. Nah, it still would have been Super Nintendo. So that means you couldn't have it wasn't no Mario Party for real. I mean, it was Mario Party, but there was no NBA Jam, no Mortal Kombat.
Oh no, again, it was strange because I knew. So I was trying to give hints like, what if it's bad?
Yeah.
And I think my dad ultimately figured it out. Because at one point he kind of snapped, like, is there something you want to say type of thing? And it was like, oh no, that was all I needed to know. Like, tomorrow it's over with.
Right.
He doesn't even know yet. And I'm like, I might as well just here, here's the belt. Go for it.
Right. Nah, man, I was good until I think about 8th grade started slowing down for me. I quit doing homework. I mean, I'm gonna tell you the thousands of the PSA, right, for all our viewers out there, especially those who are in school. Listen, do homework if you got it. Do homework. I'm gonna tell you, for everything I was interested in school and everything that I was interested in outside of school, homework cost me thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars, bundles. Okay, not doing homework. Do the homework. Prove that you know it, or struggle. Just do the homework. It's so much easier. It's so much easier. But that's about it. All right. I think our host is having technical difficulties at the moment, so I'm gonna pilot this ship here for a while until he gets back. I will tell you, all right, my favorite WrestleMania match. My favorite WrestleMania match all time WrestleMania match was without a doubt WrestleMania 13. Bret the Hitman Hart, Stone Cold Steve Austin. That's easy. It's a given. It's a given. While we were waiting. Ooh.
The Wall of Shame.
The Wall of Shame. Wow. So everybody know that you wasn't doing your homework, Mrs. Alva.
Yeah, you're going to have to give more detail. I mean, this is brutal.
No, Wall of Shame? Oh, yeah.
You're telling me you have something worse than that? I remember, I saw a friend of mine, no names necessary, and I remember when, it's bad when another friend of ours, we looked at it, and his response was, why are you here?
Why are you here? Right.
Are you even trying was the follow-up response. And I never forgot that. And again, thankfully it wasn't for me. I remember looking and similarly kind of having the same sentiments.
Yeah.
So here we go.
Wow. If you were not eligible to play that week, your name would be on the list. It was posted in the high school week for everyone to see. Man,
trauma hour on the turnbuckle.
Right.
My goodness.
Everybody know.
Yeah, anybody else out there, by all means, we'll put it up here. You'll be able to get it all out and move on with your life.
Yeah, exactly. We need therapy here. Here it is at the turn.
Seriously. But what say you? You had the cardboard. It felt like that. If you remember, you could run your fingers almost like it was Braille or something.
Yes, yeah. That
there was no tampering with those.
Oh no. You can try to sign if you want to. I remember we had the demerit system, right? That was when you got in trouble in school during the day, so short of the report card tell you about the grades, it was the demerit system. And so I got a demerit. I forgot what it was. I was doing talking in class, having gum, something. I don't even remember. But all I remember is I got this demerit, and I never got in trouble in school. Never got in trouble. Never. I never got in trouble in school. But I got a demerit today. Man, and I'm panicking. I'm suffering, man. I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do when mommy get home. I don't know what I'm going to do. So I tell my brother, I'm like, hey, man, I got this demerit, man. It's going to be over for me. I'm thinking life is over, bro.
It is. It really feels that way.
This is just a demerit. It's just you made a mistake in demerit. So I'm like, yo, I say, big bro, I'm like, man, why don't you sign it? You know mommy handwriting? So my brother look over at me, and he get demerits all the time. This don't bother him. He just laughing because he like I'm in trouble. I'm sweating. Like this is a breeze for him. He like, yeah, let me see. Fucking, I can try. And so he get the pen.
Oh no.
And he starts to sign. Now what it is it's a triple fold paper. It's the white copy, the yellow copy, and the pink copy. Pink copy got to go back to the school. Yellow
That's
copy,
right.
Right, and then the white copy, right?
Whoa, core memory unlocked.
He starts signing it with a pen. And he started trying to mimic our mother's handwriting.
Oh no! I thought you said he was a pro.
No, he a pro at getting demerits. He a pro at getting in trouble. He ain't a pro at getting out of it.
Oh no!
right. So I forgot where his area of expertise really was. If I had known that going in, I would have probably thought of it otherwise. I probably just went ahead and just took the L. But nah. See, the thing is, both my brother and I are left-handed. My mom and my dad are not. So left-handed is trying to sign as a right-handed person. She have a whole totally different writing style. Me and my brother's writing style is similar. He get halfway through her first name and be like, yo, I don't think I can do it.
No.
Bro. He's halfway through the first name. I'm like, yo, I don't know. I don't think I can make it look like, but you already in it, man. You just finish it. Just finish it, bro. Just finish. He like, I can't. He said, man, I don't know how to do it right. I can't. So he gives me back the half-signed demerit.
No.
Now I gotta take this and the attempt to cover the evidence tour. Yeah, how you think that conversation went?
Oh no, that's worse.
And what does he do? He conveniently be like, hey, yeah, I'm gonna go over Rob's house to play basketball, and he leaves. So I gotta take this L by myself. He ain't even here he ain't even here for the wrath.
Stop it.
Man, listen. That's why I never try to break the law, man. Because I couldn't trust, man. I can't look to my left. My brother left me out to dry, man.
And again, I don't think I never attempted to sign it.
Oh,
I
no.
kind of just knew there were, as you found out, there's levels to this.
Yeah.
And,
yes.
And if you tried that, I don't know if I'd have a behind to this day.
Yeah, for sure, man. For sure. But I'm sorry for diverting, man. But we're gonna get back to the wrestling talk, man. The wrestling discussion. Oh, we somehow led far away from Damian Priest's mic skills.
Right.
To be desired, still have yet to be attained. Thank you.
So we're gonna have Priest and Uso at Backlash.
Wait a minute, is it for the title?
Yeah, I believe so. And here's the thing. Listen to this exchange. I know I paid the bill because you were on that Bloodline good stuff, Priest said. And, while retelling one of the previous battles, Uso said, I took an Uber. You're just first on the list of on a list of people the machine is going to feed me, so this looks good on me.
That's what Priest says.
Yes.
All right.
The only reason you're the leader of the Judgment Day is because Mommy got hurt.
Whoa.
Brutal. Again, advantage Uso.
Advantage Uso. They got mic work, man. If he had the mic work and they had the ability, listen. This is what I like. Now, wait a minute. This is for Jay Uso, right? Or Jimmy? This is Jay.
Jay. This is Jay. This is Yeet.
Oh no. We talked about this, right? We talked about this, yeah. Yeah, Jay. Okay. Hey, great stuff. Great. Good for Mr. Uso.
And it sounds like, thankfully, we've been spared of a Jimmy versus Jay again. At least for now.
They got to get that together.
Knock on wood, someone.
Yeah, they got to get that together because they definitely, my word, definitely, they for sure owe us a better match.
No. Sometimes a better match is no match.
Well, are you saying we are getting what we are? We are owed.
I am A-okay with this. Priest does give me early Roman Reigns vibes on his on the mic.
Okay.
But again, Jay on the other hand, very polished.
What about him in the ring though?
I'm not going to repeat what Mommy calls him.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you've seen that.
No, I have not.
Gosh darn it. I don't want to say it. Someone in the comments, I'll throw it up there. Please. Are you going to make me say it?
You started it, bro. Why not?
Oh, man. You know what? In the meantime, yeah, I'm not going to repeat it.
You can't do it. Huh?
No, it's a family show.
Okay,
it's
all right.
A family show.
That's fine.
All right. Can I say it? All right.
No. Don't say
Mommy calls him the bisexual Undertaker. Yeah, there we go. All right, moving right along. The next match tonight was the World Tag Team Championship between the Awesome Truth and DIY.
Match in progress?
No, believe it or not. Actually, we had a report earlier from Maria, I believe, that Maxine Dupree was the new champion. That match is in progress now. So either that was that statement, I'm going to throw it back on the screen here, was very bold. That didn't seem like a prediction. That seemed like it was a fact.
Oh.
I'm trying to see if Maxine's still hanging on in this thing.
Oh, we might have got bamboozled.
Well, but she's there with Nia Jax now. Yeah, she was pushed down. So we're going to be determined. But again, we have the Awesome Truth defeating DIY to retain.
Yeah.
There was a post-match altercation. There is a level of reluctance kind of to show respect at, potentially a heel turn.
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to kind of see what goes on here. But you did see, again, with that, because of the frustration, I think the heel turn is somewhat inevitable.
Okay.
And it was, the Miz, of course, threw the upcoming heel into the front row. And ultimately the Miz put down Johnny Gargano for the pinfall.
Yep.
Any thoughts on this? These guys have now, it's been a few weeks now. They're constantly there since WrestleMania, and they keep winning.
They're doing the opposite of three-man band, huh? They're surprising you with the winning, right? 3MB.
You know what? Why did you have to go there?
Because that's what it is, right?
Remember, don't forget Drew McIntyre was in there, all right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I clearly remember. Yes. Yes. It's a three-man band. Yeah, 3MB. Wow. This is pretty interesting. This is pretty interesting. They keep winning despite all signs pointing to them being placeholders. I'm surprised. I am. Like I'm thinking that their stop is going to be very short. They only two or three exits, but maybe not. Well, consider this though. R-Truth and the Miz have been around for quite some time, right?
Yeah.
So perhaps this may be a final ride to the sunset, but the guys that they're working with are really getting them prepared and ready for them to take off. So DIY might be next up. Get what I'm saying?
I could see that happening on a potential on a future pay-per-view, winning the belt.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I agree with you that that very well could be the case. Otherwise, truthfully, I really wasn't sure what to make of them as a duo, but they've been very entertaining.
Yeah.
So I'm intrigued to see how much of that can carry, because we know what R-Truth can do. We know what Miz can do, individually, and we've seen kind of his pedigree throughout his tenure.
Yeah.
But we're both on the same page, kind of in conclusion that these guys are likely to maybe fumble this thing soon, or
do
they make it to SummerSlam? Is this Kanye? Can we make it to Thanksgiving and then
yeah. Maybe make it to Christmas, right? Yeah. Yeah. Right. Well, no. Maybe a Backlash. Maybe Backlash might be soon enough.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah, it might only last to Backlash.
Yeah, I could see it happening. Again, they DIY worked. Was the aggressor in the match.
Yeah.
I want to point out that after Dominic Mysterio revealed that he was injured.
Yep.
And so Santos Escobar was going to team with JD against Ricochet and Andrade.
Yep.
And Damian Priest, of course, I'm not going to repeat it, was not too happy with that.
Right.
Any kind of thoughts about the quick change? Again, they're dropping like flies in the Judgment Day.
Well,
we
got to create a way for the World Heavyweight Champion to stand on his own. right? So there's dissension, there's chaos, there's not, they're not moving on one accord. Where's the voice traveling? Who's the speaker? Right? We don't know all of that. These are the things that fractures that help to move a world heavyweight champion into his own beat, right? As well he should be. I mean, he's a world champion, you know what I'm saying? And has the world champion, he's not the leader of the faction. That's weird to me. Like, I don't remember the Four Horsemen having like Lex Luger be the world heavyweight champion and Ric Flair still the leader of said faction. That's weird. You get what I mean?
Absolutely. No, completely agree. That led into the next segment, which was the return of the Ring General.
Oh, my guy. My favorite wrestler of today, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yo, my favorite.
Yum.
My absolute favorite. Oh, man. So wait a minute. He returned in action versus who did he return against?
So, well, first, he did return to the ring on the mic. He accepted his defeat at Mania, and he ultimately vowed to kind of hunt any championship that pleases him. And interestingly enough, because I happen to say it, he specifically mentioned starting with King of the Ring.
Oh,
can you believe it?
Yeah. Okay. So King of the Ring. Now, King of the Ring, it's just simply going to award that honor, right? There's no title to be won at King of the Ring, right?
Correct. Remember, that's the Andre the Giant. Wait a minute.
This case, King of the Ring is just going to simply award King of the Ring, right?
Yeah, that's where, again, you've had like Wade Barrett I brought up before, other winners.
King Barrett, right.
Yes, exactly. I'm trying to think who else. William Regal. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Lord William Regal.
Again, you win that. And it is very much a badge of honor. As gave those examples on purpose.
Yeah, you did.
It might as well be a belt or a title of some kind, just one that simply is not.
Well, it definitely signifies that you on your way. You up next, right?
Is it though? And that's what you
should be.
I brought up Wade Barrett on purpose. Again, look at the past winners and ask yourself, was that their crowning achievement? Or
did Wade Barrett get an injury not too long after that?
That's true.
Right? I thought he got sidelined for a significant amount of time.
Correct. And of course transitioned ultimately to the announcing side of things.
Yeah, King Barrett. Yeah. Well, if Gunther, if he does it, that'd be great, right? Because I need to see. I need to watch that pay-per-view. I need to see if I can find the magic that is Gunther. Because again, I can't see it. I don't see it yet. But I haven't looked for it enough. Clearly, you see it, right? You see what it is. You see what the big deal about Gunther is, right? Double J. Oh, you actually just been playing with the fans and you actually feel the way I feel, but you didn't want to say nothing.
No.
Okay, that was a pregnant pause. That was a pregnant with twins pause. I almost had to check you for a pause. Like, hey man, exhale. Right? It's two parts of breathing. Inhale, exhale. You took in a lot of air and you didn't let it out.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I don't believe that he's being force fed. I wonder where his ceiling is, and that's why. Truthfully, I think he does go on and accomplishes that feat of being King of the Ring because of what he was able to do. You're talking about building someone, right?
Yeah.
My, concern is where his ceiling is, where he would go from there. That's why I pointed out some of those other examples, because I felt like that was their crowning achievement.
Okay.
And they never got any better, and unfortunately, that's all they were able to cling to for their career.
Well, I look at this as getting more case study information right now while we're looking at a previous matchup of Damian Priest versus Jey Uso from October of last year. Try to see if there's any indication of how this would turn out this year.
Well, it can't be any worse than what we saw at Mania between.
Right. What I surmise is that Gunter, for shooting on this one, Gunter had to make room for that WWE, for the World Heavyweight Championship.
What do you mean?
He had to drop it because he's up next. And clearly, the way everybody felt about my opinion about him,
they did not agree. The comment section did not agree.
Yes, they did not agree. So what I'm saying is, understand, in compliment to their disagreement about my opinion, right? And again, I'm aiming to be subjective, not objective. I'm sorry, I'm aiming to be objective, not subjective. Not subject to my opinion on Gunter. He lost the Intercontinental title to go get King of the Ring, to go and have him in a nice little program with Damian Priest, and eventually end up with that World Heavyweight title.
Whoa.
Right? Because that's what everybody likes. That's the Gunter that everybody see that I don't see. But I can respect it. That's what I'm saying. I don't see
you really. That's what I was really. That was, again, I was asking, where does he go? He wins King of the Ring, and then where? Where is his ceiling?
Once you are the King of the Ring, right? Somebody's gonna have that money in the bank for sure. But once you are King of the Ring, and you exercise and you showcase ring generalship, the next thing left for you to do is go get some gold. Go get it back. I proved that I can carry the Intercontinental title all this time, and people want to see me. They want to see me lose. They want to see me win. They want to see me perform night in and night out. All right, cool. I've done that for you. Now I'm going to prove that I'm the king of the squared circle. All right. And what does a king need? Needs a crown, golden chalice, maybe gold around the waist. You follow me? Oh man, I see it. And I see that before I see the guy. You know what I'm saying?
You came around to this.
No, I'm just saying.
All of a sudden.
What I'm saying is, I can see that even before I can see the guy actually being that. You get what I'm saying? Like, I feel like I have a gift of being able to be objective, where I can put I can know who my favorites and who my preferences are, but can see that the industry or the momentum is beyond my little opinion.
So
yeah,
I'm glad you were able to shed some light on where you think this is going.
Yep.
While he was, accepting his defeat and mentioning all of that, he was interrupted by Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston. And, with the former reminding the ring general of who the reigning king is, they ultimately it leads to kind of a back and forth, we want to call that. We then have a tag team match.
Okay.
And leading to Xavier Woods, with the kind of scoring the win. And of course, Gunther, in only his way, can kind of stomp, his way out of the area with leaving behind his Imperium teammates.
Yeah.
But after the match, Kaiser laid out his teammate.
Whoa.
And it looks like a potential push for him, at least for a one-on-one.
Okay.
And so it seems like we're going to get we've reached the conclusion of Imperium as we knew it.
Yeah.
But, and then of course we're turning up kind of the heat for the King of the Ring tournament as well.
Right.
So
you can have Kaiser facing off against Gunther somewhere along the way of the King of the Ring.
I think so.
Yeah.
I definitely think you could also see Xavier Woods, and potentially Gunther, and to your point, I think Gunther being, as he stated, going from hunted to hunter is going to be an interesting kind of spin on things as well. That should you be right in this, that's exactly what would have to take place.
Yeah. I think that's the move, man. See? I'm telling you, if I end up right, then you'll know that, hey, I think we all are capable of being objective. But I've stated my claim.
So if you remember last week, part of that 3MB group, Drew McIntyre, punted a TV off its stand.
Yeah.
He returned and he was addressing the WWE universe, which leads to Sheamus and his, circa 1992, what was his name? Krang or the Brain or whatever.
You talk about Ninja Turtle?
Yeah. Sheamus in his stomach, having its own personality.
Right.
Coming out and ultimately having an exchange. And once again, Drew McIntyre actually brought up his Sheamus's weight.
Yeah.
And leading to Shinsuke Nakamura entering the ring.
Okay.
And then of course it looks like it led to a bro kick out of nowhere, of course.
Okay.
And basically Drew watched it, so it looks like we're that group or small faction for a period of time. Now you're gonna have the Scottish Warrior versus the Irishman feuding at some point.
The kicks, the bro kick versus the Claymore kick.
Yep.
Which one is more deadly or damaging?
Well,
do it first. What you thinking?
I'm thinking of the cheap shots that Drew McIntyre took, which was instead of banger after banger, he said burger after burger.
Oh man. Sheamus better get in that gym. He need to figure out what happened. What happened? How did he not know? Because a guy who's known in part for his physique. Like, how would you think that you coming back like this was going to be positively, if at all, received? Like, nah. Sheamus, XL Sheamus, like,
yeah. So
like double stack Sheamus. Like, what is going on?
Oh no, not double stuff. Oh, oh no.
Oh boy.
Needless to say, backstage immediately after, Bronson Reed, who again has entered the chat,
right?
Absolutely assault Sami Zayn. It looks like, if you remember, that's what he said. Whoever won, would have to deal with him.
Yep.
So,
no problem for Sami Zayn. Don't worry about
not to mention, Chad Gable or Dark Gable. And speaking of Chad Gable, him and the Alpha Academy kind of hit the ring. As I mentioned, he just had Maxime Dupree catching strays. And then he turned his attention to poor Otis. Milo and Otis.
That was a great movie, by the way. That was a great movie.
He called him the biggest disappointment of them all.
Oh. Dark Gable said that?
Yeah. And so he didn't just go heel. He went like super villain.
Yeah. Yeah, he did. Wow.
But all of the members did reiterate their allegiance.
Okay.
So it'll be really interesting.
So they had to ask a question, right? The question had to be asked, and then they had to answer. Like, oh, yeah, I'm with you, I'm rock with you. Like, how many times have we heard that? Oh, yeah, no, this guy's going to be committed to the roster, right? Didn't Joel Embiid do the same thing? Yeah, French basketball is way. And then what jersey he got on? Right? I should never have to reiterate something that I stand on.
So
if I do, that's the first sign that I'm coming off of it.
It'll be interesting to see with the draft upcoming.
Yep.
Where do you see any movement for the Alpha Academy?
Let's see. Do I see a breakup coming? Is that what we're looking at?
Potentially, or do they all end up, do they all end up going either their separate ways by way of the draft, or do they all go together only for a upcoming breakup?
Yeah. I think they go together, and then it falls apart.
Well, I can tell you this.
Our
prediction, or what we thought was not our prediction, in the comments. That's the problem with being live.
No, we took it and ran with it, bro. We gotta eat that one.
We took an L here. Again, we needed our fact checkers for that. It turned out that statement was false. So again, there were still plenty of other people in that match, but I can tell you, unfortunately, Maxime Dupree did not win. So maybe just a champion in that individual's heart. So,
you're my hero. Participation trophy, huh?
Backstage after this, Dominic Mysterio trash talk on Ricochet.
Yep.
And then Dom had a weird stare down with Liv Morgan.
Okay. Dom had a stare down with Liv Morgan.
Yeah. Leading to, of course, the Ricochet Andrade match versus JD and Santos.
Yes.
And I'm seriously, dude, how many bad days can the Judgment Day have? Because I felt like it was somehow the Mandela effect, or at the very least deja vu.
Listen, they ain't won nothing since it's been downhill ever since. Like, we've been talking, we done brought up 3MB on a few occasions now. Like, we might have to do some real fact checking here.
So the match, as far as the Judgment Day's night, just continue to go from bad to worse.
Right.
Of course, that implies that Ricochet and Andrade had won, and
Yeah.
It was entertaining, but of course, the already frustrated, and I want to say it so bad, I'm not going to. Damian Priest.
Yeah, Damian Priest. The champ. Just say the champ.
Yeah, yes. Yep, the champ attacked the baby faces, and he then issued a warning to Dom.
Okay.
And of course, he said, to take care of it, but failed, of course. Any thoughts on the Judgment Day's demise?
Judgment Day is getting just that. Like, Judgment Day is on the receiving end of a T-800 by Cyber9 Systems coming back for John Connor. You understand me?
Oh, no.
Judgment Day. Listen. They looking like food right now. All right. And the rest of the league is hungry. You understand? Oh man. But I think it's part of the separation to bring Damian Priest on his own, for him to flourish on his own, but not before Gunter takes care.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, wait a minute. Well, how do you get one? You can't flourish and then fumble the belt.
No. He can flourish, but the group got us. You know what I'm saying? The fragmentation of the group is going to set him on his own on this island. Him and his belt, and then he can flourish in singles competition.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
you got to see like, yo, this that we was on ain't serving me. You follow me? I got to change things. Got to change my diet. I got to change my surroundings.
Yeah, but again, he's assumed the role as the leader, and it just in their collective world is falling apart. If you're the leader, if you're the general, don't you have to take some accountability on this?
It depends on what type of general you want to be. That's what makes it interesting about leadership. Some of them never take accountability. It's always these guys, it's their fault. I did, and so on and so forth. And I did this. And these guys can't cut the mustard. These guys aren't good. These guys do. We've seen that. We've seen that before. We've seen that across sports. And then you got the other guys like, no, we can get this together. We're going to right the ship. We're going to get it. Which one is Damian Priest? I don't know.
Breaking news.
Yep.
Jacob Fatu is signing with WWE.
Oh. He's signing with WWE. Wow.
Who is he going to attack within the bloodline?
Oh, no, he's definitely a heel. He's definitely a heel. He going after he might even go after Paul Heyman.
After the council?
Yeah.
Have we seen that? What, since ECW?
Right. Yeah. ECW. Yeah. But no, he's definitely, that's the guy. There's that word again. There's the guy. This iteration of the bloodline is angrier, vicious.
Mm-hmm.
It's filled with rage.
Interesting.
So you have Tonga. You got Jacob. You have those two mercenaries, right? You remember who we talking about? Who they daddies are? Rikishi and not Superfly, but no, Rikishi and Ming, or as I'm referred to him as Haku, right? You got that level of young, undeniable raw power, mean. Oh man, yeah, definitely on the red side of the bloodline.
It'll be certainly interesting. Again, stemming from SmackDown that we talked about earlier.
Okay.
That Solo clearly had truly kind of emerged as the leader there. And so now with this impending signing, I think it'll be really interesting over these next few weeks.
It is shaping up. It is shaping up to be a better, like, after the Infinity Saga in the MCU. I didn't see where they had real solid direction or something formidable, right? I didn't see it in the MCU.
And
but this here, I definitely see it. I definitely, there's about that word again. But no, when you have, like I said, the image that poster that you're gonna see when you have Solo with Tama and that those three, like, that's the Shield, but different.
So I'll say this, that leads into the main event, which was that women's battle royal.
Okay.
Unfortunately, as we stated earlier, the winner was not the winner. Turns out the winner was the man. I would have thought, like you, potentially, Liv Morgan would have been the shoe-in.
But she won the title, Becky Lynch?
Becky Lynch won the title.
Back?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. All right, that's perfect. Okay, that makes more sense, because now here it is. Once Rhea gets healthy, she be like, well, you ain't beat me. Last time you had that belt across your waist or across your shoulder, and I came to the ring, I left with it, and or I came to the ring with it and I left with it. You didn't beat me. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, I'm good with that.
Yeah,
I'm good with it.
It makes sense. I think it still sets up for that revenge tour. I think Liv ends up, Liv and Becky are on the collision course, or potentially some others. Just based on, even how Friday played out with. We still haven't seen the breakup quite yet with Bianca, and so I think we're on a collision course.
The breakup between who?
With Bianca Belair's little tag team, that she's got going on. It's still peace mode.
It's still fresh. So, right.
Yeah. So
it hasn't the idea of individual success hasn't shown itself up just yet, but give it time.
So that was the conclusion of tonight's Raw. Any kind of final thoughts from you on how this evening played out and where we're going heading into SmackDown Friday, that of course kicks off the draft officially?
Yeah, so I'm just looking forward to the draft. I think any of my questions or hypothesize, if you will, they only make sense after the draft, right? I definitely, there's that word again. I see a shakeup. And I think the draft is going to put somebody right in the crosshairs of a champion, but I don't know which one yet. And I have to figure that out and publish that before Friday. That shake will put somebody right in the crosshairs of a champion, or a champion is going to get placed right in the crosshairs of somebody moving over.
Well, I side with you that I think the breakup of Imperium could, signify that there's going to be some movement.
Yeah.
Additionally, it's going to continue to be interesting to see what occurs even with Judgment Day coming up here Friday as well. There could be a ton of movement I thought.
How many rounds is this draft supposed to be?
I want to say close to 8. But if I were so just kind of again, I think there's definitely. I think there's going to be a big 3 split up between like Naomi going to potentially going to Raw and
that's right. Somebody going to NXT or NXT. That is right. I forgot about that. Yeah, you may. Yeah, we talked about that last week. And what is the NXT surprise?
Again, I think the biggest takeaway for me tonight is that it's Becky, the champion. I think everyone wanted Liv, myself included. I'm not afraid of saying that.
Yeah.
I'm a little bothered by it. I would give tonight's episode out of a scale of 10. I'm going a solid 7.
7. See, your scale's too large, man. You got to give me 5s. 1 to 5. 1 to 5. So you're giving it a 3. See what you're doing.
Yep. I give it. Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna give it. Yeah, I think we agree
on that. It feels like they're treading water until the draft, dude. I really felt that way.
Correct. And I get it. I get it because you don't know what directions you want to go. And then if they're looking at fan opinion, they don't have. If they're looking at fan opinion or whatnot, we got to be able to see how where the pops are, where they're getting the pop, right? And then they can decide to really get to some storytelling. Perhaps maybe the draft is the reason why I don't see the connection between Cody and his next opponent. It's because maybe he hasn't been drafted yet.
Interesting. And so that's where we're going to kind of conclude this evening. We appreciate everybody for tuning in across all the platforms. By all means, we'll have we look for the comments even after the fact. So certainly let us have it if you don't agree, like Gully and his infamous Gunter takes.
Yeah. Or my Hulk Hogan take. Yeah, because I know you're just loving that, right? Yeah, so definitely reach out to us. There's that word again. We appreciate you. Appreciate the time, Double J.
Always.
Yeah, we appreciate the time. We look forward to talking about all things wrestling and all things inside the square circle and the turnbuckle. I know you're going to check us out on Wednesday when we have our Shop Report broadcast. We'll be talking some NBA playoff talk, amongst other things. And until then, I hope you guys be safe, be well. And Double J, you let them know.
What's going on?
Come to the shop. Walk-ins are always welcome.
I love you.